Well, Smiles from Black from TV talking to the one and only Ricco Ross on his portrayal of Horace on part one and part two of Tyler Perry's Black Beauty in Black on Netflix. How's it going?
It's not bad, my man. It's not bad at all.
You're having a good run playing this character. I think everybody's been watching it to see how far Horace is going to go. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? How would you best describe him?
Excuse me. I think the thing that is so attractive for this role for me is because it's not often that an actor gets an opportunity to play the antagonist and the protagonist in the same role. He's the villain at times, and sometimes he's the hero. It's a lot. The role has so many different layers. When you first meet him, you think that he's a senior citizen that's on a fixed income. Later on, you find out that he's a multi-millionaire. When you first meet him, you think that he could be quite weak and frail, and later you find out that he could be quite the opposite. He just has so many different layers, and it's really been a pleasure to breathe life into this character because it is challenging. And as artists, we often look for challenges, and this role has a challenge every time I step on set. Whatever scene it is, I know that it's gonna require me to just lock in. And once I lock in, and then it's autopilot. He comes to life, and Rico steps out of the way.
As I'm watching these episodes, and then every time each episode ends, and then you have their name in the credits, I'm like, how is he recurring? The guy's in every episode. So explain to me that logic. Like the guy's in every episode. He's part of what's happening. Why you got him? Is I don't know if it's a political thing. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go there. I'm like, guy's in every episode. He integral to what's going on. Say, why
Right,
y'all do him like
right,
that?
right. I don't really know why it was that way. I think the idea was the character um, was not going to be one of the regulars on the show. And so I think that was probably the initial concept of the character. Um, Throughout the filming of it and the love of the fans, I think that has, you know, I often don't know if fans understand the power that they have. They have an immense power, and I haven't really. This is kind of next level for me. I've been in this business for 4 decades, and I've always gotten, been in the business and gotten fans and whatnot. But this is next level, and I see the power that fans have. Listen to fans saying that they want me on shows like The View or Sherry Show or Jennifer Hudson's show, or that they want to see me on stage for an Emmy or that sort of thing. They start the conversation, and then it echoes out. And there's a great power that the fans are on there saying that they don't want my character to pass away, and
But
that constant hit that happens on social media starts to add up at some point, and it has an effect. So I just want them to know that when I see their comments, it is not AI, it is me that is reading them, and I just want you to know I see you and I appreciate you.
Oh no, we've in the history of television, there have been situations and actors whose characters were so great on a series where they're only meant there to be there for one season, but because they created such a fan base, the fan base say, "Hey, I remember." I'm thinking, what's the name of the actress on Showtime? There was a series, Homeland. You know,
Okay, yeah.
the guy, on that show, forgetting his name, but he was only meant to be there on season one, and then he wins an Emmy for season one. That they brought him back for season two.
Right.
Eventually, okay, we have there's no more room for that character to go, and he had to go out. But nevertheless, he was only meant there. And you've seen stories throughout the times where recurring actors were only supposed to do 1 or 2 episodes, and then it grew and stuff like that. So listen, however it's working for you, it's working right now. We see Horace. It's like you never know when he's Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. It's like, and see, in part one, you're like, oh, they're about to take him out, but he pulls out the gun, like, wait a minute. We didn't get no backstory. Was he in the military? Or,
Well,
there's a
that
lot of
is
stories meant to be told yet.
that is the beauty of a TV series, is that these things come up, and the backstory leaves room for more episodes and more seasons. There was a lot in this particular project, a lot of potential backstory. there's so many relationships. The relationship between Horace and his ex-wife, played by the amazing actress Debbie
Hmm.
Morgan. No one knows anything about that. There's a backstory there. The backstory between Horace and his two sons, the vicious love and hatred that they have towards each other at times. The backstory is just starting to come out. So there is a lot, and
Oh yeah,
I have to take my hat off to TP for being able to come up with this stuff constantly, episode after episode, series after series.
to look back, like, and you're forgetting the backstory between him and his brother. Like, when did things deteriorate to the point where everybody, obviously, it goes back because they keep mentioning the well and they keep mentioning, the father who put this together. It's like, okay, what kind of family was it that he just knew things were gonna, set things in motion where everybody's gonna be gunning for each other, so they can't kill each other off. They can't
Right.
go out quietly, otherwise, it's all about power and who gets what shares and so forth.
Hmm.
And so,
You've
when
done
you
your
first
homework,
Oh
Wilson. You've
yeah,
done your
I watched the
homework.
show. I was able. Listen, I came back from a flight from L.A. and I was able to watch it on the plane. Thank God for Wi-Fi. You're like, keep it going, keep it going. Keep it going. And so you look at Horace, and when the part two ends, I kind of saw like episodes in, like, okay, this is probably going to happen, in order to save her, So there's a lot going on there. We won't try to spoil everything for those who have not seen it all yet. People are still catching up. It's still out there. Um, but like I said, you played this role very well. And I'm looking at your background and I'm like, you've been around, as you mentioned earlier, 4 decades. And you just never know when that spotlight's gonna come where you're in a bigger spotlight than before. If you
Hmm.
just do it for the love of the craft, which is great because people need to see your background and say, listen, he's done a couple of films there, he's done a couple of episodes here and there, but he's stayed the course, until a role like this comes along, and now people know you, and then they'll probably see something that you've done in the past. It goes, oh, I didn't know he was on that.
Right.
What is the staying power to being in this business to where that hopefully at some point they'll get a role as juicy as what you have right now?
Um, I have to say that there's a saying that comes to mind when you ask that question, that success comes when preparation meets opportunity. That's part of it, being prepared when that opportunity shows up. I've always been a working actor, and I've always been someone where I walk down the street and people see me and they recognize me as someone they know, but they don't know where they know me from. They may think that I went to high school with them or something like that, but they see a face, but they don't know the name. This role, I think, is helping me get my name out there, and it is also drawing people, pointing people to past projects so they can see my catalog of work. People are bringing up projects like Aliens or Mission Impossible, or even far back as Whitney Houston "Saving All My Love for You" video that I had long forgotten about. But this resurgence of this character Horace has made those projects kind of more interesting, and they're getting a lot more traction than they had in the past. It is it In answer to your question, I think I started this business off, and when I started off, the goal was to be a triple threat. You wanted to be able to dance well, to sing well, and to act well. My first love was the theater because of the instant gratification you got when everything worked, when everything clicked. And if it didn't work, the audience would let you know that too. And I love that. I love that honesty, that frankness. And I come from a big family. I have very thick skin. I love the challenge of going out there and making it happen, pulling them into a role, pulling them into a story, and having them hold their breath. I did one show, and I remember one of the reviews was, um, even his pauses are exquisite. And there was a pause in the show where I told the director, I want to hold this pause as long as I can,
Mhm.
and when I feel it, I'll let it go. And it worked every night, and I just love that. But even though theater was my first love, I am now beginning to understand the power of film because of social media. Because
Mhm.
that same love that I got from film, I'm now getting through social media, through platforms like TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, where it is constant and it is global. and I really appreciate it. And I love the creativity that some of the people are putting together these mashed up videos of the character and unpassed characters, um, or me going to the gym or something like that, and they're just so damn creative. And I just want them to know that I see them and I appreciate them, and it is not AI that is liking them; it is me.
You mentioned, we were talking about, the conflicts, Horace and his ex-wife, Horace and his sons, Horace and his brother. But then we're like, Horace and Angel, where did that come out of? We're thinking at some point something's going to happen, but they keep teasing us, you know? There's a lot going. Now we have Horace and Kimmie. It's like there's never ending story out there with you. Obviously we don't know when season 2 is gonna come along. If you had an option, where do you think Horace is gonna come out of this?
I don't I don't know really. I don't even know if Tyler knows really, because the way the series was written, is Horace was supposed to be finished at the end of the first season, and that's the way it was written. And so I don't know if there were real plans for him after the season. So we don't know. We don't know what the relationships are going to be, and whether there are going to be relationships. That's all to be determined. But an amazing ride. The fans have been so damn giving to me, and responsive to the character, which is, I gotta admit, I found it a little surprising, because I think Horace can be vicious at times, and yet people people seem to love him even with that viciousness streak in him, because he is a real one. What you see is what you get, and if you're on his side, he's going to look after you, and if you're not, and if you're crossing him, then you get what you deserve. So
You know,
I don't know, in this world where things are very PC in a lot of ways, and people get canceled for saying whatever. Horace is that old school thing where he is who he is, and unapologetically who he is, and
who's more of the
people have really
devil,
responded.
Horace or Charles? No, not Charles. Richard Lawson's character.
Richard Lawson's character, yes, Norman, who is more the devil?
You never know. When we look at Richard's character, you sympathize. His wife died. He's out for revenge. But then you see, Horace is like, okay, which one are we rooting for? They two peas from the pod. Like, who are we
Well,
rooting
we are
for?
brothers, we are brothers. For me, and as an actor, I make certain choices about the character, and those choices help me find a certain amount of consistency. So if you were to ask Ricco, who's the devil out of the two, Norman thinks he's the devil. Horace is the devil.
You see, and that's where we're going to probably end off, because we have a lot more to come into season 2. Obviously, like you mentioned before, with TP, you don't know what he's going to set up. You like to think he's going to throw everything in the kitchen, but no, because this is a series, he's saving some for later. To see where
He
we
is
go.
saving something.
You
Yes,
know,
he is.
when you're not outside, and people don't recognize you or Horace, what keeps you humble?
My wife keeps me humble. You get a lot of love, and I could see how. And also, I am not new to this business, so I'm used to getting love. But my wife, I think, keeps me humble. My wife, my friends, and my family keep me humble. And I think humility is a great character trait. I never want to lose it. But also adding, I come from a family of 11 kids and a very humble beginnings. That I also helps with humility.
Hmm. Well, Rico, congrats on this role. You've made the most of it thus far. Obviously, we're looking for to see more. Don't get dead on us. Otherwise the fans and social media will revolt, and we'll see you back in flashbacks.
Well, no,
you know,
I mean, like I said, the fans, they're a powerful force, and they can make things happen.
don't lose the cane.
No,
you know,
that's how I found the role. The cane was when I felt like I locked it in. Then.
So we're gonna see more of you. So I appreciate the time you taking to talk to me. We're gonna get
All
this
right,
out
Wilson.
and say, hey, congrats. Keep promoting the show. Keep promoting yourself. We'll see more of you down the road. Take care.
All right, brother. All right.
Bye.
Deuces.